Thank you, everybody, for coming to the Aaron Torres Podcast YouTube page. I do have one quick favor before we get to the video that you came here for, and that is very simply this. You see that little red subscribe button below this video? Go ahead, smash that subscribe button. It really does help me. It really does help this channel grow and my audience grow. So go ahead and hit that red subscribe button. And now, here is the video that you came here for. It came at a little place called The Fog. Kansas, top 5 team in the country, entered the game 17-2, hosting a little old-fashioned blue blood named Kentucky. Of course, Kentucky was coming in. They were banged up. Ty Washington housed his ankle. Jacob Toppin housed his ankle. Oscar Tshiebwe left the previous game, came back, and he kind of sat there and said, listen, I think Kentucky can win, but if they're not healthy, who's really to say? Instead, Kentucky went in there and put a butt-whooping on for the ages. Final score 80-62 as Kentucky walks straight into the fog and walks out straight with a W. And let me tell you this before we even get into this. I've been watching college basketball a long time, and it's funny, right? Because on this show, I've been critical of Bill Self. I think that he's getting a little bit of a pass in this FBI stuff. We crushed Bruce Pearl. We crushed Sean Miller. We crushed Will Wade. Well, guess who has 5 level 1 violations against him? It's Bill Self. But I bring it up to say, as critical as I am of Bill Self for some of the FBI stuff, I do believe that he is a brilliant college basketball coach. I think if you take every element that goes into college basketball, I don't know if he's the best. I don't know who's better, though. Great at the X's and O's. Great in recruiting. Great at player development. That's one thing I don't think he gets credit for. He's not a one-and-done guy. He is at his best when he has a team like this with guys that have been in the program 2, 3, 4 years, a guy like Ochai Agbaji, a guy like Christian Brown this year, a guy like David McCormick who's been in the program forever. That is where he is at his best, and he has been awesome. We can criticize him for a lot, but 1 national championship, multiple Final Fours, 1 million Big 12 titles, and I can say this after watching the game that I watched on Saturday from Kentucky. I have never seen Bill Self look as completely helpless as he did on Saturday against Kentucky. Kentucky just dominated this game in every way that a college basketball team can. They jump out to a 51-31 lead at halftime. So just think about that at the most basic level. Kentucky put up 51 points in the fog when one of their best players, Ty Washington, we didn't even know if he was going to play an hour before tip-off, 51 points in the first half. Essentially, it was a 20-point game the entire second half. Kansas never really got closer. I know the final score was 18 points, but it was never really close. You never felt like Kansas was in it. Kentucky dominated the boards. Kentucky shot threes well. Kentucky looked like the more, physically impressive team, more well-coached team, better skills, better development. I mean, everything. I mean, I had so many people who have not really watched college basketball all year texting me during that game and saying, oh, my God, this Kentucky team, are you kidding me? Pump fakes, ball fakes, Kellen Grady, 3-point shot, Severe Wheeler driving the length of the court, kick, dish, drive. How about this? Oscar Tshiebwe, who I believe should be the front runner for National Player of the Year right now, he was good. But, I mean, would you even put this as one of his top 10 games as a Kentucky Wildcat? I don't know that I would. 17 points, 14 rebounds. That's good for everybody else. But for Big O just had 21 and 22 the other night against Mississippi State. I don't even know if this was one of his 10 best games as a Kentucky Wildcat. And Kentucky still wins by 18 points at the Fog. And so what this says to me in the bigger picture is a few things. The first thing it tells me about Kentucky is this. I was right, and anyone who doubted me was wrong. And what do I mean by that? And by the way, that's not me patting myself on the back too much. We do where Aaron was right, where Aaron was wrong. Because I get a lot of stuff wrong. But what have I been telling you for about 3 or 4 weeks now? I have said that I truly believe that this is the first time, 2021, 2022, that Kentucky entered January underrated on the national college basketball scene. We spent time talking about Gonzaga. We spent time talking about Purdue. We spent time talking about Baylor. We spent time talking about UCLA, Duke, whoever. Nobody was talking about Kentucky, and I said this team is awesome, and I believe they are totally underrated. The problem was, as I've said many times, it was kind of like a chicken and the egg thing, right? It was kind of like that deal where you kind of sit there and say, well, they don't have any great wins, so how can they be great? And I said it's actually the exact opposite. They don't have that great win to confirm how great they are. But what I can tell you is when they've been healthy, completely destroyed North Carolina. When they were healthy, completely destroyed Tennessee. But the problem was in the two biggest games of the season, I would argue, or at least of the last 4 or 5 weeks, biggest game of the season maybe was Duke in the opener. But the last 5-6 weeks, they go to LSU, bunch of injuries, end up losing that game by a couple points. Then they go to Auburn. Severe Wheeler gets hurt, comes back. Ty Washington goes out with an injury. And so you didn't have that game where you sat there and said, okay, this is who Kentucky is. This is what they look like when they are fully healthy. And that is exactly what we got on Saturday. And we finally have confirmation. Kentucky's, when they're healthy, they're really freaking good. If they had been healthy against LSU, probably would have won at LSU. If they had been healthy at Auburn, could have won at Auburn. Not going to say that they would have, but could have. And so to me, this game was the one. This was the one that Kentucky needed to prove to everybody, yes, we have arrived. Yes, we're back. Yes, whatever you thought about us, whatever you thought about Calipari, whatever you thought about last year, it's over. This is a new team with new guys. We are back, and we are ready to compete for a national championship. We got that on Saturday at the Fog. You know what else Saturday was about to me? And I tweeted this, and you guys loved it, and I want to talk a little bit about it. Saturday confirmed to me something that I think I knew, but I kind of hadn't really considered over the last, 2 or 3 years. And what that is this. It is that John Calipari, and I know everybody loves to criticize Calipari, especially non-Kentucky fans. Everybody loves to criticize Calipari. But you know what Saturday told me? That in my life, there will never be another person more equipped to be the head coach of Kentucky basketball than John Calipari. And what do I mean by that? Well, it's all pretty simple, really. Here are the job descriptions of being the Kentucky college basketball coach. No different than maybe Notre Dame football, Georgia football, Alabama, Ohio State, whatever. Here are the descriptions of Kentucky basketball. You have to have the number one recruiting class in the country every year or be pretty close. You have to bring in players good enough to win a national championship every year or pretty close. Now that the transfer portal is a thing, you have to go get the best players in the transfer portal or else. You have to be the most interesting team day in, day out, week in, week out. This is not a program that you can hide behind football. And I know Kentucky football was great this year, 10 wins. I'm not discrediting what Mark Stoops did. But this is a 365-day-a-year deal where people care. And oh, by the way, once the games start, you got to win pretty much every game. And when you don't win, people are going to question it. People are going to wonder why. People are going to tell you got to do this. People are going to tell you got to change your staff. You got to change this. You got to change that, whatever. And oh, by the way, you have to have a team good enough to win a national championship every year. Those are basically the job description. No big deal. Just got to have number one recruiting classes. Got to crush the transfer portal. Got to be interesting 365 days a year. Got to win every game. When you don't win every game, there's got to be a reason, and you got to compete for national championships every year. This is how tough the Kentucky job is. And we have a ton of Kentucky fans who listen to this show. I told you a minute ago, Kentucky is the number one most downloaded state for this show. So I know we have a ton of Kentucky fans that listen. This is the pressure of the Kentucky basketball job. Kentucky has not made a Final Four since 2015. And people are saying it's Final Four. We got to make a Final Four. It has been too long. There are great programs in college basketball that in the modern era have never made a single Final Four, like good programs. Like Purdue has essentially never made a Final Four in this modern era. Kentucky hasn't made it in 6 years, and people are saying that you got to make it now. And so why do I bring it up? It is because as I was watching the Kansas game, this is what struck me about Calipari and where he has this program right now. It's how not surprising what happened was on Saturday, right? I told you I had 1 million people texting me during that game saying, oh, Kentucky looks really good. But nobody was surprised. Nobody was shocked. And so to me, that's what's so incredible about this, how unsurprising it was, especially relative to last year. And this is why Calipari, to me, is the perfect coach for Kentucky. Not saying that Kentucky fans shouldn't want more. Not saying that Kentucky fans shouldn't expect another national championship before he retires. Not saying that other fan bases can't kind of say, how does he only have one championship? But what I'm saying is this. Think back to this time last year. I just talked about it a minute ago. Literally a year ago today, Matthew Stafford was traded for by the Los Angeles Rams. Think about how their fortunes changed. Well, think about where Kentucky basketball was a year ago at this time. At this time a year ago, people were saying it's over for Calipari. Can't figure it out, doesn't know what he's doing, missing on recruits, the style of play is bad, the coaching staff's bad, the development's bad, everything is bad, everything is wrong. What is wrong with Calipari? And you know what he did in basically like a four-week stretch over the summer? Oh, I don't know. He completely changed up his coaching staff. And for at least one summer, he completely changed up his recruiting style, going from the high school one-and-dones to the transfers. And he completely, oh, by the way, no big deal, just completely changed up the style of play. Was playing a bunch of big guys, was doing this, was doing that. And in one offseason and in one basically a month, from like mid-March to the early May period, so 6 weeks, changed everything in this program. And here they are, 6 months after that. They're going to be in the top 5 to 7. They just won at the Fog by 1 million. And they have a team that's good enough to win a national championship. And that was really what struck out to me about that Kansas game on Saturday, is the idea that it did not look weird. That this is just kind of Kentucky, right? Oh, we just won at the Fog by 18 points. No big deal. It's what Kentucky does under Calipari. We go on the road to one of the toughest venues in college basketball. We win by 18, and nobody's really that surprised. And that speaks to the standard that Calipari has created. And I'm just telling you, Kentucky fans, and I'm telling you all other fans, it's not supposed to be this easy. And I tweeted this out too. These jobs are not supposed to look as easy as Calipari makes it look. And again, I understand that Kentucky compensates him really well, and they help him with staff and whatever facilities he needs, he gets. And now NIL is in place, and Kentucky's crushing it in NIL. But I bring it up to say it's not supposed to be that easy. It's not supposed to be as easy as Calipari looks, where in a 6-week period, he snaps his finger, everything in the program changes except for him, and he's got another national championship contender. Think about what we've just seen in the last month in college basketball. Chris Mack couldn't even make it 4 years at Louisville. Chris Mack couldn't even make it 4 years at Louisville. Same pressure, same expectations, same standards. Couldn't make it 4 years. Just cracked. Broke, said, I don't want to be here anymore. Pay me. I'll take half of my buyout. I don't want to be here anymore. Penny Hardaway, 2 number 1 recruiting classes in the last 4 years. Hasn't played in an NCAA tournament, snapping at the media. Starting to snap, starting to break, starting to say, what kind of stupid question? He's getting mad at the media over nothing. Indiana, gone through 3-4 coaches that couldn't handle it. Mike Woodson, my boy Mike effing Woodson, maybe he's the guy, maybe he's not. UCLA cracked Steve Alford. UCLA cracked Ben Howland after a couple Final Fours. And here is Calipari every single year for like 15 straight years. Take out a COVID year. And basically every year he has a team good enough to win a national championship. And so to me, that was what stood out about Saturday at the Fog more than anything, is how not surprised everybody was. Now, is everybody surprised maybe that the final score is 18 points? Maybe. But at the end of the day, what was so shocking was how nobody was shocked at all. This is what Kentucky does. We go on the road in big games and we kick butt because this is who we are and this is what we do. And so it's a credit to John Calipari. It's a credit to what he has built. And it's just a credit to, I don't think there's a better coach for this program. And I don't think there will ever be another coach better for this program.